Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. It is Saturday. It is my gosh. It is Saturday, January 7th, and it is the start of week 22. It's pretty much been a lot of rain and me just coming out here for a couple hours adding layers to the head. I've gotten the outer ring of the head, fifth layer on with the rough tape on the outside. Today, going to go in and start putting the full layers on the inside just to get that layer secured. And then I want to work on trying to resolve the eyelid thing. I think I want the eye to blink. You'll see it in a minute. There's a giant opening, but I have it propped up outside so that I can leave freed up space inside here to work the eyelid thing. I'm gonna have to be basically making a model of some wooden bits to see if I can get a blinking kind of action happening. So it's going to be a bit of a motorized thing. I do have a battery operated motor coming, but I still need to work out the mechanism that would make the thing blink. First up though, because it's taking an age, that ring layer took me about 4 goes just to get placed on with the temporary tape on the outside. So now I'm going to go ahead and put on the secure bits on the inside. That's probably going to take 2 or 3 goes, and then I can come back in here and work on the eyelid. So things are still a bit damp out here, but this is the eye opening, and it needs to have a partial lid here just to, a hood to come over this edge. And there'll be an eye in here, which I'm now realizing that all of the eyeballs, things that I had been messing around with about a month ago, are not going to work because this eye is far too big. So I need to go find most likely a beach ball and get probably I'm thinking a 6-inch beach ball. And I'm going to try coating it with resin and get a transparent eye, do something funky. I have some ideas about that. Anyhow. Working because I realized I wasn't going to be able to rig anything up for the eye until I got these hoods, for lack of a better word. I needed to close in the eye a little bit more, so I made these brackety things which needed to get applied, and the resin inside was still too wet. I decided the best way to make it blink is to make the eyelid rounded shell that kind of wipes over the round eye. I ordered some beach balls because I'm not sure what size I need. I did buy one today. I'm going to blow it up and see if that's going to work for me. And if not, I need to wait for the ones that are coming. My next move here is going to just be to continue working this head the way I have been. I'm going to attach these new eyelids that I got and do the back end of the solid, because I only did 1/2. And that's probably going to be all I'm going to be able to do for today. So yeah, I'm going to get on doing that. And then I'll be waiting for stuff to dry. Such is my life. I was convinced that I'd have this head together before I went back to work. My break is over. I start work 2 days from now, and the head's not together because, well, I wasn't anticipating all of the rain, and the fact that I don't have sunshine is also slowing down the cure time. Having to constantly reposition this just to do a small amount and waiting for it to dry. Those really hot days, I was able to get this thing to cure with the fast set stuff. It cured in a couple hours, so I could just flip it over and keep going, but it has not been my friend this time. I think this is going to be the case with this eye. I'm going to have to wait for these to go on here and dry, and then come back again tomorrow to do the left one before I can reposition it to do the other side. I need to get to the underside of this, so as I'm securing the inside, I gotta go back on the underside and run the big strips to really get it in place. I'm doing that while I'm seaming so that it's all one go. It's a little bit cleaner on the inside while I'm, securing these pieces. So yeah, I still absolutely love this process. I think I want to do a whole slew of these, but maybe smaller ones. I'm totally envisioning a class, sculpture class, and how I would create that coursework. over this process. It's just a really exciting process to me to see sculpture, to see these pieces come together this way. Alright, that's going to be that for today. Gotta wait for this to dry, and it's not going to dry in this 60-degree humid weather until 24 hours from now. Hey y'all, it is Friday the 13th, Friday, January 13th. We are still in week 22. This is the end of week 22. Whatever I do today is going to close out this vlog. I'm coming out here and slowly adding layer by layer in between things. It's been 2 hours-ish each session, and I've been coming out in both the morning and the evening after I've let things sort of get tacky. I'm almost through this process. I'm thinking though, by the time I transition into the neck, it might be a little too large to leave in here. I was not expecting this to be this big. I mean, getting to that push point where I'm hair working on the floor, it's too big to maneuver around on the table. So I've been down here working. I still am having rain issues. Tomorrow is supposed to be another rainy day, and then the same goes with midweek, it's gonna rain. I've been kind of running out here when the rain stops to try and get things to cure with the fast hardener in small patches, hoping that, you know, it has time to cure enough for me to rotate it and doesn't stay too tacky, and then get the next bit on. Then this layer, it took a lot. I did have to fix the eyelids. It took about 4 or 5 goes, and I think just because each layer keeps getting larger, it's taking a little bit more rotations. I'm having issues with the resin pooling to one side and pulling away from the fiberglass, and I'll show you that in a minute. I have to rotate very slowly. It's very evident when I'm using the black dye for the inside. You can totally see where it's pulling away. I'm gonna guess that to finish out this head and neck, I'm looking at least another month. I am fully securing the inside so that when I'm done, the inside I won't have to go back to. This is the nature of this project, the nature of my conditions of my space, the weather. If in perfect world, if I was doing this in maybe an interior studio that had heat control, I probably could have done this throughout the rain. I could have had more success because I could control the environment if I was able to have a large enough space to have the body inside the space. Then I would be able to work the whole thing. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have a full-time day job, pretty much full-time, almost full-time, plus this job. You know, I'm kind of working 2 full-time jobs. This channel is pretty much a full-time job. I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but the amount of hours I put into this channel is a full-time job, along with the actual full-time job that pays the rent. Yeah, in a perfect world, I would have nothing to focus on but this dragon. Unfortunately, that is not the situation. I know for me inside, it feels like it's taking an age. I don't know if it feels that way, y'all watching, but this is just the way it is. This is the nature of being an artist who also has to make a living. The big famous artists, they have larger spaces and only focus on art, but you know, that's not reality for most people. So here we are. Anyhow, I'm gonna add the next layer of ring to get it started for today, and probably we'll spend next week's vlog dealing with getting that ring on. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna come back here and show you what I mean by the pooling, and then I'm gonna start the next layer. So hopefully you can see the areas that look a little bit naked. It's like pooling away. Those are the spots where when I rotate this a certain way, the resin is kind of pulling off of those areas where it's light. So I've had to do smaller sections so I could keep it like more like this so that it stays flat. Yeah, that's what's taking a while, but looks pretty cool in there. I don't know if you can see that. Down to the nose. All right, enough screwing around. over there drying, and it's almost 1 o'clock right now, so I don't think I'm going to be able to add another layer before I have to move it in because it is going to rain tomorrow. Since the weather has been kind of wonky, I have been doing other things for stress relief, but also that is sort of working towards the end result of this dragon. And one of the things was I had a baking day on Wednesday, and I have been insanely obsessed with these Trader Joe's fig and olive crackers. They're pretty low in fats, they're not too many carbs, you can eat a generous portion of them for 90 calories, and they kind of sustain me. However, the issue with these crackers were two things. I was talking to one of my students who actually works at Trader Joe's. He said that anything fig flavored or pumpkin flavored was seasonal. So I had a hell of a time trying to find the last couple boxes that they had out there. But the other thing was, it's not gluten-free and it's not vegan. It does have milk product in this one. I've been eating pescatarian diet. I will do some cheeses, fish, I do eggs, but some of the creams, ice cream or heavy cream and things that are cream based, I have a really hard time with my stomach. If I'm going to make something for myself and make it from scratch, I will make it vegan and gluten-free. If I am out and trying to do something for convenience, then I will compromise and give in to dairy. And sometimes I compromise on the gluten-free, but lately that has not been an option. Eventually I'm going to be making something that is for a tea service because I've decided there will be tea rather than a feast in this dragon, something a little more intimate. I wanted to go about finding a recipe to make these myself, and that is what I was playing with on Wednesday. I am not 100% happy yet. I have a pecan cranberry orange, which I really love. I did the fig and olive, and this is a fig and Colorado with pine nut. And then I did a raisin, Spanish olive, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. I'm still messing with the recipe. I'm almost there with the gluten-free. I did use a mix of chickpea and rice flour, and it has a little bit of a chickpea aftertaste to me, so I'm still tinkering with this recipe. One of the things was I knew looking at these crisps that they needed to be double baked. It was going to be something that had to be made in a loaf and then sliced, and the directions for the one I was kind of loosely going off of and adapting said to use a serrated knife. But I actually tried the serrated knife and my hand was killing me because it suggested that you slice them frozen so you can get really thin slices. Tried the mandolin. It was all really difficult. Couldn't get them as thin as I really wanted. Then finally I'm like, screw it. I'm going to try my kitchen knife that I absolutely love. And this is a cheapy IKEA knife, but I love this knife and I use it for everything I do in the kitchen. And so I grabbed this knife. I don't even think they make this knife anymore. And I was able to slice really thin slices and get, the thinnest I've been able to get with that knife. However, I realized my knife is dull. So I am going to use my water stones to sharpen this knife. These water stones I have to sharpen my chisels, but it's basically the same process to sharpen your knives. You can buy stones or knife sharpeners that will sharpen your kitchen knives that are sort of similar. A lot of them are round. You don't really use the water. I want to see if I can have a go at getting this to be a really amazing knife by using the same process I would as my chisels. And just looking at the edge on here, I can tell it has not gone up to the highest fine point that any of my chisel stones would go up to, and probably not going to take it all the way up there. But I do have some nicks on here and some areas where it's just gotten a bit of a burl. So I'm going to spend some time sharpening my knife while the dragon is kind of curing before I can move it inside. I have a very coarse 220 stone that has seen better days. This has had a lot of wear, so it's tapered. And this used to be old stones I would use when I did classroom instruction. I'm just going to use the junk stones. I have a good set that I keep for my chisels to do my sharpening. What I want to do here is to get rid of the burl. So I'm going to be just putting this up against the stone. I'm going to do that on both sides. The tip is bent, so I'm going to get a little extra care there on that tip. Ho, ho, ho. I feel like I need a tomato. With those knife commercials, they always slicing a tomato. My garden does not have any current tomatoes in it, unfortunately. At least not any red ones. You want to make sure you keep your stone wet if you are going to do this. You can buy sharpening stones from Amazon or the hardware store, and they're pretty affordable these days. Used to be really expensive. I buy water stones. Water stones are your cheaper option. Now if I was dealing with my chisels, I would switch out this water in between each one because my chisels, I want to have a really fine, pristine blade. For the sake of what I need it for, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go as high as that. I'm just going to do a light service here, and so I'm going to go from my 220. My next one up is an 800 and then a 1200, and I'm probably going to stop there. Alright, I washed the knife and I brought out a couple of these baby grape tomatoes and an Asian pear that I had in there that needs to get used. But let's see what happens here. Whoa. Alright, that was some good cutting. And now I'm realizing I probably should sharpen the rest of the knives in the kitchen. Because, yeah. Knife Sharpen 101. The things you learn on this channel are just all over the place, right? Okay, I'm going to call this vlog here. I have to wait to move the dragon head in, and I'm probably going to go inside and get the rest of my kitchen knives and give them all a sharpen. Tomorrow's supposed to be rain, so I probably will not be able to get back out here until Sunday, and it will just be another week of continuing on with the head. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch this project all unfold, and remember, don't wake the dragon.